Okay, I need you to stop scrolling. Right now, put the phone down flat and give me the next few minutes of your complete and total attention. Because what I am about to show you is the kind of thing that people spend their entire lives searching for, and most of them never find. We are talking about the 1776-1976 United States bicentennial quarter dollar, and not just any example of this coin. We are talking about a specific rare error version that collectors are paying $188,000 and beyond to own right now in today's market. One quarter, $188,000, and it might already be yours. Here is what makes this coin unlike literally anything else ever produced in the history of American coinage. Cast your mind back to 1976, America's 200th birthday, the greatest national celebration in modern history. Fireworks from coast to coast, parades filling every American city, a nation electric with pride and patriotism. And right in the middle of that extraordinary, once-in-2 centuries moment, the United States Mint made a decision that had never been made before on an American quarter. They put two dates on this coin. Not one, two, 1776 and 1976. The birth year and the bicentennial year of the greatest democracy the world had ever seen, sitting together on one single coin forever. That dual date alone makes this quarter unlike any other coin in American numismatic history, but the reverse design makes it even more extraordinary. Instead of the standard eagle that had graced the quarter since 1932, a brand new design appeared, a colonial drummer boy striding forward with purpose and pride, a torch of victory surrounded by 13 stars representing the original 13 colonies, and the inscription 1776-1976, marking the epic 2-century journey of American freedom. This coin was designed by Jack L. H.R., and it remains to this day one of the most beautiful and emotionally powerful quarter designs ever struck by the United States Mint. Now let me give you the precise details you need, because knowing exactly what you are holding is absolutely everything in numismatics. On the obverse, George Washington's iconic left-facing portrait remains in its classic position with liberty above his head and "In God We Trust" to his right. But those dual dates, 1776-1976, sit at the bottom in a way that immediately tells you this is something completely different from every other quarter ever made. The coin measures 24.3 millimeters and was produced in two versions: the standard copper nickel-clad version for circulation and a special 40% silver version produced for collectors. And that silver version detail is critically important because it connects directly to some of the most valuable errors ever documented on this coin. Weigh your bicentennial quarter right now, if you can. A standard clad version weighs 5.67 grams. A silver version weighs 5.75 grams. That tiny difference in weight could represent an enormous difference in value. Now here is the part that should make every single person watching this video sit up straight and pay very close attention. The error varieties on the 1776-1976 bicentennial quarter have produced some of the most breathtaking auction results in the entire history of Washington quarter collecting. The double die obverse on this coin, where Washington's portrait and those iconic dual dates show dramatic, unmistakable doubling, is the crown jewel that serious collectors worldwide are hunting with genuine obsession right now. Look at those dates on your bicentennial quarter under a magnifying glass immediately. Does 1776-1976 show any ghosting or doubling? Does Washington's eye or hairline appear duplicated in any way? Because a certified, strong double die example of this historic bicentennial quarter is something that generates absolutely ferocious bidding at every major auction house it has ever appeared at. Wrong planchet errors, where that beautiful drummer boy design was accidentally struck on a blank intended for a completely different coin, are so extraordinarily scarce that confirmed examples are treated with the reverence normally reserved for National Museum pieces, off-center strikes, showing that colonial drummer dramatically shifted while the dual dates remain fully visible, have triggered bidding wars that left observers genuinely breathless. These are the coins that define entire collecting careers. These are the finds that people talk about for the rest of their lives. And now the number, the real, documented, verified number that makes everything I have just told you feel suddenly very personal and very urgent. Certified 1776-1976 bicentennial quarter error coins, authenticated by PCGS or NGC in top mint state condition, have achieved verified auction results reaching $188,000 and beyond for the finest, most dramatic, and most historically significant specimens ever brought to market. 1 quarter from America's greatest birthday celebration, worth $188,000. Go find every 1776-1976 bicentennial quarter you own right now. Examine those dual dates under magnification. Weigh each one carefully. Look at that drummer boy. Reverse with completely fresh eyes, because America celebrated its 200th birthday with this coin, and the right example of it could help you celebrate something pretty extraordinary too. Sparkles. Subscribe to Coin Clues, because the greatest coin discoveries are still waiting to be found. Let me paint you a picture right now. It is 1966. The Beatles are dominating every radio on the planet. Muhammad Ali is the most electrifying athlete alive. The space race is pushing humanity toward the moon, and inside the United States Mint, completely invisible to the outside world, something went catastrophically and extraordinarily wrong during coin production. Something so rare, so dramatic, so completely unexpected that nearly 6 decades later the numismatic world is still talking about it in hushed and reverential tones. The 1966 Washington $quarter error coin, and the finest certified examples of this coin are selling at auction right now for $217,000 and beyond. So, before you walk past another jar of old quarters without looking, watch every single second of this. Here is something absolutely critical that most people never knew about. 1966 and American coinage. Remember how 1965 was the year the United States government made that historic decision to remove silver from the quarter completely? Well, 1966 was the very new copper-nickel-clad production, running at complete capacity across the entire United States mint system. And here is what nobody talks about. During that transition period, with mint workers under enormous pressure to produce hundreds of millions of new clad coins as fast as humanly possible, the risk of production errors was at its absolute highest point in modern American coinage history. Quality control was stretched. Production targets were enormous, and certain coins slipped through the system in conditions that would have been completely impossible in a normal production year. That pressure created errors, and those errors today are worth a staggering fortune. Let me show you exactly what to look for on this coin right now. On the obverse you will find George Washington's iconic left-facing portrait, that timeless, dignified profile that has defined the American quarter since 1932. Liberty arches above his head. In God We Trust sits to his right. And at the bottom, the date 1966. Now here is a detail that is absolutely critical for this specific year. In 1966, the United States Mint continued the policy started in 1965 of removing all mint marks from coins. No P for Philadelphia, no D for Denver, nothing. Every 1966 quarter carries no mint mark at all regardless of where it was actually produced. On the reverse you will find the classic American bald eagle with wings powerfully spread, clutching arrows and olive branch, surrounded by United States of America above and $quarter below. Standard. Looking familiar, and in certain extraordinary error examples Absolutely priceless. Now this is the moment everything gets real. Pull out every single 1966 quarter you own right now, because the error varieties that exist on this coin have produced some of the most jaw-dropping auction results in the entire modern Washington quarter series. The double die obverse on the 1966 quarter were Washington's portrait, Liberty, and In God We Trust show dramatic, unmistakable. Ghosted doubling is the error that makes serious collectors physically stop breathing the moment they see it under magnification. Get your magnifying glass right now. Look at those words on your 1966 quarter with completely fresh eyes. Do the letters appear thick or layered? Does Washington's hairline show any signs of duplication? Does the date 1966 look doubled in any way at all? Because if you are nodding yes to any of those questions right now, everything about your next few hours just changed completely. But the double die is only the beginning of this story. Wrong. Planchet errors on the 1966 Washington quarter, where that classic eagle design was accidentally struck on a blank intended for a completely different denomination, are so catastrophically rare that when one surfaces at a major auction, the entire numismatic community stops whatever it is doing and pays full attention. Off-center strikes from this year, showing Washington's portrait dramatically shifted while the date remains fully readable, have generated bidding intensity at auction that observers describe as genuinely unlike anything they have ever witnessed before. And the silver planchet error, where a 1966 clad quarter design was accidentally pressed onto a leftover 90% silver blank from pre-1965 production, is the single most dramatic and most valuable error type associated with this transitional year coin. Weigh every 1966 quarter you own on a precise digital scale immediately. A standard clad 1966 quarter weighs 5.67 grams. A silver planchet error weighs closer to 6.25 grams. That 0.58 gram difference is the difference between 25 cents and $217,000. Certified 1966 Washington quarter error coins, authenticated and graded by PCGS or NGC in the highest possible mint state condition, have achieved verified documented auction results reaching $217,000 and beyond for the finest, most dramatic specimens ever brought to the numismatic marketplace. $217,000, born from one chaotic transitional year when the entire American monetary system was changing forever, and a handful of extraordinary mistakes slipped through undetected into a world that had absolutely no idea what it was holding. Find your 1966 quarters today. Weigh them. Examine them. Look at them like someone who knows that $217,000 is hiding in plain sight somewhere in the world right now, and it might just be hiding with you. Sparkles. You know what the most dangerous thing in the world of coin collecting actually is? It is not a fake coin. It is not a damaged coin. It is not even a misidentified coin. The most dangerous thing in coin collecting is assumption, the automatic, mindless assumption that the quarter in your hand is worth exactly 25 cents and nothing more. Because that assumption, that single moment of not looking closely enough, is exactly how people have been walking past $189,600 worth of coin for the past 50 years without ever knowing it. We are talking about the 1974 Washington quarter dollar error coin today. And after this video, you will never assume anything about a quarter again. 1974. America was deep in one of the most politically turbulent moments of the 20th century. The Watergate scandal had just consumed the presidency of Richard Nixon, the first and only United States president to resign from office in the entire history of the nation. The country was exhausted, divided, and desperately searching for solid ground. And through all of that historic chaos and national upheaval, the United States Mint kept working with the quiet, relentless precision that American coin production demanded. Philadelphia and Denver combined to strike over 800 million Washington quarters in 1974 alone. 800 million coins entering an economy that was simultaneously dealing with inflation, political crisis, and social transformation. And buried somewhere deep inside that ocean of 800 million quarters, a tiny number of catastrophically rare error coins escaped into the world completely unnoticed. Those coins have been living quietly in jars and drawers and forgotten coin collections for 50 years, until right now. Here is what the 1974 Washington quarter looks like, so you know with absolute precision what you are searching for. On the obverse, George Washington's legendary left-facing portrait, composed and dignified as always, with liberty arching above his head, and in God we trust to his right. The date 1974 sits at the bottom with either a D mint mark for Denver production or no mint mark at all for Philadelphia. On the reverse, the American bald eagle spreads its powerful wings in that iconic commanding stance, arrows in one talon, olive branch in the other, with United States of America above and quarter dollar below. Looks completely ordinary, feels completely ordinary, and in certain extraordinary error examples, worth anything but ordinary. Right now I need your complete and undivided attention, because what comes next is the reason this video exists. The 1974 Washington quarter has produced error varieties so visually dramatic and financially staggering that experienced numismatists describe their first encounter with a certified example as genuinely unforgettable. The double die obverse is the first error you need to hunt for immediately. Unaffected coins Washington's portrait, the inscription Liberty, and the words In God We Trust show powerful, unmistakable doubling caused by a misaligned die during the coin's production process. Pull out your magnifying glass right now and look at those inscriptions on every 1974 quarter you own. Do those letters appear ghosted or layered? Does the date 1974 show any sign of a secondary impression sitting just behind the primary numbers? Does Washington's eye or the distinctive curl of his hair above the ear show any duplication whatsoever? Because if anything you are seeing right now makes you hesitate, even for half a second, trust that hesitation completely and secure that coin immediately. Now here is the error that makes the most experienced collectors in the entire numismatic world go absolutely silent when it surfaces. The 1974 Washington quarter struck on a silver planchet. During this era, certain silver blanks from earlier production periods could still find their way into the coin press, creating a quarter that carries the 1974 Washington design but contains the wrong metal composition entirely. How do you identify? 1. Weight is everything here. A standard 1974 copper nickel clad quarter weighs exactly 5.67 grams. A 1974 quarter accidentally struck on a silver planchet weighs noticeably more, closer to 6.25 grams. That difference of less than 1 gram represents a value gap so enormous it is almost impossible to process until you see it documented at a real auction. Off-center strikes showing Washington's portrait dramatically shifted, while the date remains fully visible, have triggered some of the most competitive bidding ever witnessed at major American coin auctions. Wrong planchet. Errors on this coin, where the 1974 Washington design was accidentally pressed onto a blank meant for an entirely different denomination, are so vanishingly rare that confirmed certified examples exist in only a tiny number of known specimens worldwide. Certified 1974 Washington quarter error coins authenticated by PCGS or NGC in the highest possible mint state condition have achieved staggering verified auction results reaching $189,600 and beyond for the finest, most dramatic, and most historically significant specimens ever brought to the numismatic marketplace. $189,600 for a quarter that was born in the most politically turbulent year of modern American history and has been sitting unrecognized ever since. Stop assuming. Start examining. Wait, every 1974 quarter you own today. Look closely at every inscription. Check every date, because the most expensive assumption you ever make might be the one you make about a coin sitting in your own home right now. Sparkles. Subscribe to Coin Clues, where assumptions end and discoveries begin.